We're live back at the Caring Conversation studio, live from the NEC in Birmingham. We're here with Jack. Hi, Jack.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. You want to tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Jack White. I'm the CEO and CTO of Health Automated, the digital care management system architecture that's been rapidly accelerating since January.
Cool. So we're going to talk about policy and regulation. Thrilling subject, I might add.
100%.
But we're going to talk about AI. Should we be using AI to write policies?
Oh, good question. With the advances of platforms such as ChatGPT, we're seeing ChatGPT for law, or we're even starting to see it for medical studies. However, at this moment in time, there's no AI that knows your business like you. We can use an artificial intelligence to draft a policy and procedure, but the duty would still be on the care provider or the business itself to actually check that meets their criteria. We're looking at, shall we say, more efficient ways to try and keep our businesses compliant nowadays, and AI has its place. It's always scanning the internet looking for the latest trends, but ultimately where regulation sometimes doesn't keep up with how quick AI is expanding and the sector changes, it's always one of them ones we always say probably not at this moment in time.
Yeah, I think ultimately if you get in trouble because your policy's wrong, you can't go, well, AI wrote it, it's not my fault.
No, 100%. Obviously, care providers have that duty to make sure that everything that they have is still meeting regulatory and legal compliance and frameworks. And ultimately, we can't just bury our head in the sand and pass it over to AI just yet. AI is advancing at a rapid pace, and it is very, very efficient, but it's not perfect yet.
And how's the care sector using it well so far?
So there's been many applications with artificial intelligence throughout social care. Some companies are using it just to help with rotoring, some are using it to gather big data queries, especially around health data and trying to manage conditions. So there's we've got the low end usage of the scale where some people may be using it for things like just their social media posts as an example, but not embedded within their social care application. And there's some, for instance, some of our customers are using it to pretty much automate their business, get cost reductions, as well as greater outcomes and efficiency. And the sector's going through a big change at this moment in time. There's obviously a big transition. There's a rush to digitalisation. And we would just say that each company will probably use AI in their own way. And it's down for them to make sure that they're procuring in the right artificial intelligence to meet the purpose of their business needs.
And I guess you want to make sure that if you're using it, people know in your organisation how they're able to use it, right?
100%. Obviously, artificial intelligence, we always say, treat it like a new member of staff. The day you implement, it's not going to know everything. You know, if I was to start a new job today, let's just say I was going to start as a care coordinator. If you don't tell me who needs care, when they need care, where people are going, I'm unable to do that task. Where there's a lot of uncertainty around artificial intelligence at the moment, we find that people are starting to soften up to the usage, but obviously trying to balance that safety element as well around their critical business needs. When it comes to the usages and the application, I think we're just starting on that trajectory, and over the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to see a lot of changes and a lot of businesses moving more towards automation, where there's a reduction in everyday working capabilities in the workforce.
Cool. So in rotoring, how does it work? What's it actually, when it comes down to it, and I'm using a rotoring system, how does AI help me?
Once again, this is a very vast question because obviously with artificial intelligence, it depends on the application and how it's being used. I can talk about Jack, our AI, and how that would work. So essentially, Jack works on a priority of safety before profit. So at this moment in time, when a company's trying to rotor, our AI will look at over 300 different data points, from the care receiver to the staff, from things like preferred gender for care, even down to sort of cultural and alignment to try and make sure that there's a good compatibility with care. Where we're looking at them different metrics, some organisations may have a different data set in which they're trying to rotor, but ultimately it's down to how the company wishes for that compatibility to be set and working with them predefined presets of data and trying to link it together in the most efficient way for their business needs.
So you'd be setting out some sort of different profiles and then using that, and I suppose this works at scale best if you're trying to rotor on 300 people in a day. You can use that to kind of set the baseline for you and maybe make smarter decisions than you can yourself.
100%. I mean, with artificial intelligence, it doesn't sleep. It doesn't feel fatigue like you and I. It's constantly looking. It's constantly alert. We refer to Jack as a 24/7 digital care manager because it's got its finger on the pulse. It's constantly monitoring where people are. If they're going to breach, it will recommend a staff member to take over and carry on that visit or the next visits for the continuity of care, for the safety. And as I say, I think we're just getting to the baseline of where we're going to go up with this. And a lot of companies will have different requirements on the sort of data sets they need and how it comes to rostering, and where companies operate so differently over a geographical landscape across the country where there's different policies on local levels, it's hard to give a 100% ballpark answer on how that would work. But ultimately it's down to forward-thinking providers working with their customers, becoming that software partner, understanding the customer's business needs and making sure that the service is fit for the purpose for them so it can be rolled out safely.
Cool. Right, I've got one final question for you.
Go for it.
Takeaways. Plates or no plates?
This is where I'm going to differ from Lee because I'm all about efficiency. So I'm going to try and say no plates, and I will always try and avoid a plate where I can.
Save the washing up, right?
Well, I'll use Lee's example of an Indian. Obviously, you've got the curry sauce, but the naan bread's there for dipping, right?
Indeed, indeed. So, spoon in the rice, yeah, done, right.
100%.
Safety plate, tray.
There's always got to be a safety plate, same as a safety napkin, just for emergency events.
Roll of kitchen roll for you.
Exactly.
Right. Lovely. Well, thanks for coming in.
No, it's been a pleasure.
Cheers,
Thank you.
Cheers. Right, we'll be back shortly with another interview.